Welcome to the Game Week 18 team selection. Before we get on to the team selection for the upcoming weekend, let's take a quick look back at how we got on in Game Week 17. It was a full house of clean sheets at the back, which was where the majority of the points came from. Kevin Long deputised for the injured Ben Mee once again, as Burnley went on to keep out Stoke in their 1-0 win. Christensen was subbed before Chelsea conceded the late goal to Huddersfield, so he retains the clean sheet, and Man City went one step closer in their title challenge, enjoying a 4-0 win over Swansea. Morata's injury saw a return to a five-man midfield, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming back into the starting lineup, but the Crystal Palace midfielder was unable to find points, despite the 2-1 win over Watford, where Richarlison had set up Jan Maat to initially put Marco Silva's side ahead. Raheem Sterling was the only other midfielder to return points in Game Week 17, registering 2 FPL assists during the win over Swansea. There wasn't much to shout about up front either, as Dominic Calvert-Lewin received a yellow card in stoppage time against Newcastle, while captain Harry Kane was unable to find a return at home to Brighton, despite taking a total of 10 shots, 5 of which hit the target, as well as providing 3 attempted assists. But a score of 59 points was above average and sees a small green arrow up from 67k to 44k, with the points total for the season currently sitting at 963. Alvaro Morata missed Chelsea's midweek game due to a back injury, and Antonio Conte is yet to comment on his availability for the home fixture against Southampton. Hopefully the Chelsea forward is able to recover, but if he were to look likely to miss out again, Roberto Firmino could be the man to replace him. Klopp has been rotating his side in recent weeks, but after a goalless draw with West Brom, he'll be expected to name a strong side for the trip to Bournemouth this weekend. Richarlison suffered a groin problem towards the end of the midweek defeat to Crystal Palace, making him a potential doubt for the home game against Huddersfield this weekend. Again, the extent of the injury is unknown for now, and keeping hold of the Watford midfielder may turn out to be an option. If he were to be ruled out, Xherdan Shaqiri looks like the obvious like-for-like replacement, with his price tag of £6.2 million, and having contributed to 9 Premier League goals this season. Riyad Mahrez is also making a strong case for himself after finding his 12th attacking return of the season midweek, and the downgrade to Firmino would allow the extra cash needed potentially. For now though, no transfers have been made, and here's how the team is shaping up for Game Week 18. After keeping their 8th clean sheet of the season midweek, Burnley travel to Brighton for Game Week 18, a side that have mustered up just 1 goal in their last 4 games, which is fewer than every other Premier League team during that period. With that in mind, Nick Pope and Ben Mee make the lineup, though Kevin Long is once again on standby should the Burnley defender miss out through injury for a 3rd game. Man City welcome Spurs to the Etihad for Game Week 18, so Nicolas Otamendi will have the tough task of keeping Harry Kane quiet if he's to keep a clean sheet. But having registered 7 attempts at goal during the last 4 game weeks, the Man City defender also has attacking potential in his locker. Finally, Andreas Christensen keeps his place as Chelsea host Saints on the back of their 4-1 defeat to Leicester midweek. Only 6 teams have scored fewer goals than Southampton over the last 4 game weeks, while Chelsea have conceded fewer big chances than every other team during the same period. Raheem Sterling has started each of the last 7 game weeks and has made himself a key player for Pep Guardiola in recent weeks. With Spurs up next for Man City, the England midfielder looks likely to retain his place. After failing to find a win in their last 2 games, Liverpool will be expected to field a strong side for the away trip to Bournemouth in Game Week 18, so Mo Salah should find himself in the starting lineup once again, despite the recent news of his minor hamstring problem. Eden Hazard completes the midfield, as Chelsea welcome Southampton to the Bridge. He was unable to find FPL returns during the win over Huddersfield, but his tally of 7 shots on target in the last 4 game weeks can be beaten only by Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane. Kane took an impressive tally of 5 shots on target against Brighton without managing to find the back of the net, but no player has taken more shots on target than the Spurs man during the last 4 game weeks. Finally, Dominic Calvert-Lewin lines up as Everton host a Swansea side that have conceded 7 goals during the last 4 game weeks. Only Stoke have conceded more big chances than the Welsh side over that period. Harry Kane needs 4 more goals from his next 3 games in order to break Alan Shearer's record for the most Premier League goals in a calendar year. But with the Spurs forward travelling away to Man City in Game Week 18, the temptation will be to overlook him for captaincy in favour of Eden Hazard or Mo Salah, who each have more favourable fixtures. The Liverpool midfielder failed to register FPL points midweek for the first time in 9 league games. He scored 3 goals in the last 4 game weeks, but from just 4 shots on target, half the tally that Hazard has managed during that period. However, 6 of Hazard's last 8 shots on target came during a single game against Newcastle, and the Belgian midfielder has taken just 2 shots on target during their last 2 game weeks, in games against Huddersfield and West Ham. With that in mind, Mo Salah may be the safer option, but Hazard on his day certainly can be explosive. So it's a real 50-50 call, but the Chelsea man is edging it slightly for the moment, after Southampton conceded 4 goals midweek to Leicester. Follow FPL Tips on Twitter to be notified of any updates to the team in advance of the game week deadline.